Right, hello, welcome to BJG Reptiles. Today we're going to be looking at some baby snakes that were behind me. Now, you might be wondering why I'm sat on the floor, and I'm sat on the floor because, as you can see, they are in enclosures this size, and I don't have a stand for them, so they're currently stacked up on the floor. So I've got three babies currently with me. I did have a royal python up in the top, but he outgrew that enclosure, so he's now on the big rack that I'm actually going to be upgrading, but that's for another video. So we'll start off with Tango, the corn snake. Now, Tango is a blood red albino corn snake. I also have two other babies that I will show you after Tango. So they ate over 48 hours ago now, so they'll be absolutely fine to handle. Now, Tango is a tiny, tiny baby. So Tango was bought from a local pet shop called Snakes and Adders. They actually held him for me while I had the money to buy him because he is in my breeding plans to breed to Jaffa, my big female corn snake. So he's called Tango, like I said, as you can see with these bright, beautiful colours, and his red eyes. He is an albino. He's also het for something. I can't remember what he's het for, but he is het for something. I do have that somewhere written in a book, but I can't remember exactly. That's not the main thing I got him from. I got him for the albino gene and how gorgeous he looks. So blood red is a incomplete dominant, I believe, or a co-dominant morph. And albino is obviously a recessive morph. So he just tried to nip me then. He's not happy. Now that means that because it's a visual albino, that all the babies will be 100% het albino, which means that I can then get a albino female or an albino male, whatever, basically something that's not the same family line, and I will then have 100% het albino to an albino or 100% het albino, and I'll actually be able to produce some albinos. So not in the first time that he is bred, but the second time I breed corn snakes, I will have some albinos that don't look quite as pretty as him, but will look very, very pretty. Now the blood red albino is a bit of a finicky one because there's two strains, and I'm not sure if they're different or if they were just discovered at different times. So I'm not 100% sure if 50% will be blood red or if it will be like 25% or whatever. I don't know. Genes that aren't ball python genes get confusing. But yeah, this is Tango, and he actually is getting a bit dull right now, so he's probably going to go into shed soon. But yeah, he has eaten 4 meals for me, I think, and I just wanted to show you the baby and my plans for him in the future. And I'll explain a little bit about him now that he's calmed down and how to care for him. So corn snake's like a hot spot of around, I think it's 30 to 32 degrees Celsius. And the humidity is pretty much room temperature, so room humidity, so like 50 to 60. And obviously they need places to hide, water, etc. I use Lignocell as the substrate, and yeah, they're pretty easy to care for, corn snakes. Oh, he's definitely in shed actually. If I get you his eyes really close, eyes turn around, you can see they're kind of going a little bit dull. Sorry, it's not focusing. Yeah, well, you can kind of see that. I should probably put him back then if he's going into shed. I will quickly show you his enclosure. So this is his enclosure, this is the setup. Ignore the fish tank. So he needs his water topping up later after this video. He's currently just gone into this hide on the hot side, and then there's the small hide on the cold side. When he moves into a larger enclosure, he will have fake plants, more places to hide, and obviously a much bigger floor space. But yeah, that's Tango. Currently he's like less than 4 months old, so he's proper piddly. We will go ahead and put him back in the rack. I will then get the second largest animal out of the babies, which is a southern banded water snake. Now, where is she? So this one's called Liliana. Now Liliana is getting chunky now, but she's still really small. So Liliana is, like I said, a southern banded water snake. She's the female. I also have a male that will be bred to her in the future. Now, something interesting that I have seen that is starting to develop on her is she's about to go in shed as well, so she's really dull. But if you look on her sides, you see those white bits that are kind of coming through? They weren't there when I picked her up, or they weren't as prominent at least. So it looks like her pattern is going to be even brighter as she gets older, which is really cool. In the wild, these snakes are semi-aquatic. In captivity, however, they can be kept completely terrestrial. Now, when they're bigger and they're no longer part of the breeding plan, when they're retired, I will give them a full-on semi-aquatic enclosure. But while they're in the breeding plan, they're currently in the hatchling rack, they'll be moved into either a bigger rack or a 3-foot viv, because they do only get up to about 3 foot large. As you can see, they're pretty heavy-bodied snakes for the size that they are. But like I said, they don't get very long. They also mimic cottonmouths, so they pretend they're venomous in the wild. She's really chill, like absolutely, like chill, like kind of a dog kind of thing. She does not care. Colin, who I'm about to get out, which is her partner, not so much. He's a bit of a dick. But yeah, these are also my breeding plan, but these are grow outs, so these will eventually move out of this rack when they become big enough to do so. But these can be finicky eaters, so I'm keeping a close eye on them. Neither of them have missed a feed for me, but that doesn't mean that they won't in the future, so I have to keep a very close eye on them. I will put Liliana away now. Now, the other problem is when you try and put them away, they're very, very flighty animals, whereas Tango, the corn snake, sorry, let me put this away, kind of just sits there. He doesn't really do anything, he just goes into the hide. She will like dart all over the place. So now this is Colin, this is the male, so he is currently on fuzzies, large fuzzies, so is she. Oh, I should have said that as well. Tango, the corn snake, is only on pinkies, that's how small he is, he's proper tiny. So these are basically, if they're colubrids, they'll be up to like hoppers in here, usually, depending on what colubrids they are. If they're royals, it will be up to about small or medium wiener rats, and then they will start moving over into the rack, which I'll do a quick show. As you can see, it's trashed, the reptile room right now. So here, I'm going to move those drawers over there that are currently on my desk. And then behind that over there is going to be a completely new rack system. And that rack system is going to be tore down for a big enclosure at the end of the room, which is a surprise for later. But yeah, they're going to be moving to a bigger rack, so they won't be in rubs anymore, they'll be in tubs, and they should be about 3 foot long. And then eventually, when I've got the money, the big female royal pythons that are in that rack will have 4 foot long enclosures. I've already got Cherim, one of my others, in a 4 foot enclosure. I'm going on a tangent. I'm going to show you Colin now. Where are you, Colin? Right, so like I said, Colin is a little bit bitey, and I've got to be careful, because if I scare him, that's when he gets bitey. If I get him out normally, he'll be completely fine. So as you can see, his belly pattern is different to Liliana's, his side patterns are different to Liliana's, and he's also pretty much jet black other than those little bits of white. Now, he's actually doing really well. He's also significantly bigger, as you can see. He will need an upgrade before her. He's also going into shed. What is it with this? All 3 of them are going into shed. He's going to take a little bit longer to shed. You see, if you look, he's like flattening his head out. He's a little bit scared at the minute. He's definitely the one out of the 3 babies that I've showed you that's a little bit more defensive. Once he's out, he's fine, as you can see. But when he's actually in the enclosure, oh my god, is he a bitch. But yeah, this is Colin. He's the male that I believe is slightly older or the same age as Liliana. I'm not sure if they're clutch mates or not, but if they are, I won't breed any of the babies back to the mother babies together. It will just be those 2 together, and then I will get a separate specimen to carry on the breeding plan, because I don't want to cause any inbreeding issues. You know, self-explanatory. But yeah, this is Colin. Colin is arguably the prettier water snake, depending on what you like. I quite like the jet black, so I think I prefer how he looks. But he is a drop-dead gorgeous animal. Let me just, if I duck out of the frame, look. Now, I have just put Colin back. You didn't see that on the camera because my camera footage corrupted. But I was just going through some of the care information before I realised the footage had corrupted. And I just wanted to say that I can't remember if I mentioned, but in the wild they are semi-aquatic. In captivity, they're completely terrestrial unless you want them to be semi-aquatic, and that means that the humidity can either be wet or the humidity can be around the same as corn snakes, which is about 50 to 60 if I'm not mistaken. I think they can get a little bit higher, they don't really mind. But the heat is, I think it's just under the ball pythons, similar to corn snakes. Again, they're very similar care. About 30 to 32 degrees will be fine for a hot spot as long as the ambient temperature isn't quite 32 degrees Celsius. But they also obviously require a decently big enclosure, 3-foot enclosure when they're bigger. When they're hatchlings, they're okay in something this size. But I use Lignocell, and I've had complete success rates with both of the specimens that I've just showed you. No problems at all. They are eating, drinking, pooing. I've actually seen one of them, I think it was Liliana, drink. I put her in and she was drinking out of my hand. I really wish I got a video of it because it was an amazing experience. If you want an animal that's a little bit more obscure but is a similar care requirement to a corn snake, so you're not an experienced keeper, I would highly recommend these. They're not very expensive animals, but they are very, very different. They're very, very pretty, and they're something to show off if that's what you want to do. I can't recommend them enough. I think they're actually easier to feed than Tango. Tango can be a pain in the ass. But yeah, that's it. If you've got this far, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, and also that notification bell, press that as well. And yeah, thank you for watching, and I shall see you next time. Goodbye.